Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. And I got a pile of knives here. I'm going to organize them as I talk. I am a big Spyderco fan. These are all of my Spydercos at the moment. And that collection, it really is constantly growing. I am pretty constantly adding a new Spyderco to the collection every few months, it seems like. There's a lot of reasons to love Spyderco. And I've done videos on Spyderco before. I've done videos on, why Spyderco is the best. I've done videos where, comparing two different Spydercos against each other. I've done a lot of Spyderco videos. But in this one I figured I'd just kind of show off all of the ones that I own. And talk about them briefly. If you're not familiar with my channel and you don't know me, I'll tell you some of my favorites. And just kind of talk about it. So my very first Spyderco was a Tenacious, Spyderco Tenacious, and I don't own that anymore, but that was a great starter Spyderco, and that's what really got me to fall in love with Spyderco. The moment I knew I wanted to get into Spyderco, and the moment I knew I liked Spyderco, was actually even before I even held one in my hands. I found a video online when I was just surfing the internet. This was before I was really even into knives at all. I saw a video of somebody with their PM2 going like this. He reverse flicked his PM2, and I thought, holy shit, that looks so cool. I need to do that. I need to try that. So I bought the Tenacious, and then my second one was a PM2. Not this PM2, but the regular PM2. Then the rest is history. I just kept buying them. There's a lot of reasons to like Spyderco. They're just fantastic users. They are well built, and they're just the best cutters. They really are the best cutters. Let's go down the line here. So here's my Shaman. This is one in 15V. Kind of a special one because of that. These are hard to get. I can't even believe that I scored this one. I mean, it was touch and go there for a minute where I was really wanting a 15V Shaman, and wasn't sure if I was going to get one for a while, but I scored. I freaking scored, man. 15V is one of my favorite blade steels from Spyderco. It's just awesome. It's got really high edge retention. It gets patina over time. You can see the blade definitely looks a little darker if we compare it to one of the stainless steels. Just looks different, You can see it's kind of gotten darker in some spots. I really like it because the edge retention is insane on this thing. Now I also have a Manix 2 in 15V, but that's being modded right now for a competition, so I cannot show you that. I'm going to give you guys a very quick, brief glimpse of it at the end of the video, so that's something to look forward to. The Shaman's a beast. If I'm being completely honest, I don't carry the Shaman a whole lot. I do, definitely on occasion, but I just don't carry it a whole lot, and I'm not sure exactly why. I think because I carry the Native 5 more often, and it's just a smaller version of the Shaman. Very similar. And this is just a more Kevin-friendly size. I just like this size a little better for an everyday EDC knife. Now, for like a bruise or work knife, Shaman all the way. For a super lightweight, very slicey, great cutter EDC knife, Native 5. Now, I think the Native 5 might be my favorite knife here on the table, if not in the top 3. We'll get to that in a minute, but this is one of my favorite knives. But the Shaman's awesome. These are some AWT scales. They're aluminum, and I kind of just touched the edges with some sandpaper to kind of give it a little bit of a more worn look, and I actually really like that. This is an MXG deep carry clip. All of these Spydercos have their factory clips exchanged, except for the ones that have the wire clips. I actually don't mind those. But you won't see any stock Spyderco bent clips on here because I just don't like them. But luckily there's a lot of options for replacing them. I happen to really like MXG a lot. They have different styles. They do this kind of more spoon clip as well. This is just another style that they do. And They got a variety. I just really like them. The shaman is a king of ergonomics. It's hard to find a more comfortable choke-up spot on a knife, especially with its stock G10 scales, which are completely contoured. These are chamfered, which are pretty comfy, very comfy, but not as comfortable as the rounded stock G10 scales. So this is amazing. It's super smooth, great flicker, and a very good cutter as well, despite the thick blade stock. PM2. This is a Wharncliffe PM2, which is a little more rare than the regular leaf-shaped blade, I guess you'd call it, drop point, whatever. It's an S30V, and these are some titanium scales from Flytanium. And these are the original titanium scales I had on my first PM2, so they have had a lot of love over the years. They're all scratched up and looking very nice. This is a brass lanyard hole plug, also from Flytanium, and it's got an MX G-clip. I had a CME on this knife for a long time. If you don't know, it stands for Compression Lock Made Easy, and it's this little G10 or micarta tab that sits on the compression lock and basically brings the surface of this button out to this surface. So instead of putting your finger back in here to push that, it's almost like there's a button on the outside, which I liked it. It was really nice. It actually allows you to kind of push the button with this part of your finger. So you could kind of do this thing where you flick it and then just boop, hit it with the side and it would close. Without it, you have to really put your finger in there and get to the compression lock. I actually kind of miss it sometimes. I just kind of wanted to get back to a classic Spyderco feel, which is why I took it off, but I still have it. I can pop it on. This is an S30V, which is kind of Spyderco's standard blade steel. And but you know, don't turn your nose up at it, because Spyderco's S30V is mean, baby. This thing holds an edge like crazy. It's much better than like Benchmade S30V. Pretty much any S30V I've tried, this is the best stuff. The PM2 is a classic. You know, it's the same kind of blade stock down to thick tip thinness as the regular version. So very similar cutter. This is just a Wharncliffe, so the tip's really low. This is a mean knife, man. Para 3, kind of the PM2's little sibling, and I went a long time without owning a Para 3. In fact, this is, I think, my newest Spyderco. Is it? No, the Chef is. But it's newer than most of these. I don't know why. I think, you know, I had the Native 5, which is a similar size, and I figured I just didn't really need it since I already had the Native 5. But I figured, you know, I should have one in the collection. You know, the main difference is this is a back lock, this is a compression lock. And this is actually the lightweight version that I exchanged for these AWT scales. So AWT makes aluminum scales for the lightweight Para 3 and the regular version, but this was a lightweight, and this is the snappiest Spyderco on the table. For some reason, the D10 on this baby is just unbelievably crisp. I don't know if all lightweights are like that, but it's crazy snappy. And very smooth, too. Without any blade play. Spy 27 blade steel. The lightweights don't come in the wide variety of blade steels that the regular Para 3 comes in. So you're going to find this one in like BD1N and Spy 27 mostly. There might be a few others. Those are the two main ones. It seems to hold an edge pretty good. You know, it's on the lower end of edge retention, but I mean, it does pretty darn good still. Now, the main difference between this and the Native 5, besides the locking mechanism, is the hump. The Para 3 here has the big hump, and the Native 5 does not. A lot of people don't like the hump, and I totally get where they're coming from. It kind of forces you to go either behind it with your thumb or like in front of it. You gotta, I mean, on top of it, it feels weird and not very comfortable. But being behind it is a very locked in feeling, so that's definitely a plus. It's almost like you have more leverage on the blade, even with your thumb being behind here. So it's definitely a very comfortable locked in spot right here, but it's a little more constricting. With the Native 5, you can put your thumb wherever you want, brace your thumb up way up here, just anywhere, and it's very comfortable. So that's another difference. But, you know, both have the choke up spots, similar ergos, similar size. Blade length looks almost exactly the same. Then the PM2 actually has, or Para 3 actually has a more belly than the Native 5, which they both perform pretty similarly. I don't think you'll notice that very much. Since we're talking about it already, Native 5. I love this thing. This is in Maximet. Look at that patina, baby. Look at that. This one I think has patinaed the most, because probably because I've carried it the most. But here's the difference between a stainless and the Maximet. I love Maximet, man. It's right up there with 15V for edge retention, so it's not corrosion resistant at all. In fact, it'll probably rust up on you, but it's got crazy good edge retention. In fact, I think you can see a few little rust spots right there. Very minor, and I could clean that off if I wanted to, but I just leave it. The Native 5 is amazing. It is one of the best cutters on the table. Because of its thin blade stock, it tapers down quickly to the tip, and the way that the tip just slopes down to very low with just a little bit of belly, it feels like you're cutting with a sheep's foot blade when you're doing utility cuts. And when you want the belly, it's there. You can rock back on it when you're cutting something down on a cutting board, flat surface. And then slicing is just great, man. Your finger blocks the cardboard from getting caught back up in here. In fact, that's not even really a problem, because Spydercos don't have sharpening choils. Crazy, huh? They don't. They just, a lot of them anyways, end at the nub there. And some people don't like that. I actually kind of do like it, because there's a reason for it. Couple things. The plunge grind here is a 90-degree plunge grind. It's not a radius. If we look at another knife, let's see here. Let me find a good example. ABW Model 1. Do you see how this is the edge bevel here, and then it's got to slope up to get to the full thickness of the tang, which is up here. And it's not a right angle. It's not a 90-degree angle. It slowly slopes up, so it gets thicker, 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 and then bam, full thickness. The Spyderco, you get your edge bevel, you're coming along, bam, you hit a wall. And it's a 90-degree corner up to the full thickness of the tang. So you're never going to get that weird, bad, ugly spot where your edge bevel starts getting thicker and thicker and nasty. That's just not going to happen, because it can't. It doesn't get thicker. Which is cool. Also, you never have to worry about cardboard getting snagged in your sharpening choil. And if you cut a lot of cardboard like I do, that's a real annoyance. If you're cutting with a knife that has like a big sharpening choil where you can't put your finger in it to prevent that from happening, it's annoying, man. It's really annoying. You'll be cutting along, and the cardboard will kind of come down slowly and bam, snag you. It stops your cut. You have to reposition, pull it out, stick it back in, and continue. It's annoying, man. Really annoying. With this, you don't have to worry about it. It just doesn't happen. So, that's cool. So, yeah. Anyways, Native 5, one of my favorites. AWT scales, again. I think it's their brick red color. And MXG clip. The lockback is so satisfying. I mean, listen to the sound. So nice. You can operate this one-handed easily. You let it fall, and it just hits your finger right there. Bam. Easy. The Delica Wharncliffe. I love this thing. This is also wearing scales from Flytanium, same as the PM2 here. And also a copper backspacer, MXG clip. And this is in K390, another one of my favorite steels from Spyderco. This is crazy good edge retention, right up there with 15V, Maximet, but it's a little more stainless than the other two, because I don't have any patina happening on this thing yet, and I've used this a lot. So just compared to these other ones, seems to be a little bit more stainless. Obviously it's not super stainless, but a little bit more than these others. This is the Wharncliffe version, which I think looks really nice. And especially with these titanium scales, it really turns this into like a very premium feeling knife. Nice snap. Very, very thin blade stock. I think the thinnest on the table. Yeah, definitely the thinnest on the table. Look at that compared to the Native 5, compared to the Shaman, compared to the PM2. Yeah, this thing is a slicing beast. Unbelievably slicey. Even the regular version is very thin too. I think it's the same thickness, just a different blade shape. So this is an excellent knife. You know, before it had these scales, it was a lightweight. Same with the Native 5, it had their lightweight scales on it. Now, when I bought these scales from Flytanium, I had a major problem, and I need to disclose that to you. In fact, I tell everybody that is asking about my Delica, I have to tell everybody, because Flytanium doesn't tell you this, and it's annoying to me. I even asked them about it, and I won't get into the whole story, but the bottom line is, when you get these scales from Flytanium, there's some variation with the tubes that Spyderco uses on their Delicas. So these are tubes that these screws thread into. What happened when I was changing the scales out, I popped these in, I went to screw these screws into them, and they wouldn't tighten down all the way because the tubes were too long. There basically wasn't enough room for the threads to pull this together tightly enough. So I had to actually end up grinding away, shortening these tubes on my belt sander to get it to squeeze tightly and screw down, you know, so that it squeezes this together properly. I contacted Flytanium. They said they were aware of the issue but couldn't replicate it, which I have no idea what that means. I've talked to many people since I made that video saying that theirs did the same thing, and many people, and some people that didn't have the issue. So it's weird, and it's got to be that Spyderco uses some different length of these tubes on different Delicas. But Flytanium should tell you that on the listing, or maybe even include hardware that works. Regardless, once you get them on, even if you have to grind these down, it's not a huge deal, it's annoying. Once you get them on, they're great. The Chef. This is my newest Spyderco acquisition, and one that I wanted for a long time and just never got around to buying until recently. This thing is awesome, dude. This is a titanium frame lock Spyderco made in Taichung, Taiwan. Same as the Swayback here. And this is a great user. Very interesting blade shape. It's meant for cutting down on a flat surface, on a cutting board, food prep style stuff. And that is because we have continuous belly all the way up to the tip, which is pretty high. And that means that you can get this full edge down on the surface before your knuckles hit. I'm trying to think of a way that I can show you. Let's see here. Look at this. So here's the cutting board. See how I can rock back all the way back to here before my knuckles hit. It's kind of hard to, like, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But once you cut with it, you really understand how awesome it is. Like, say there's a piece of, like, rope down here on the table. Usually you have to kind of use this part of the edge to cut it. But with this knife, you can get it way back here. You can just, boop, chop it. Boop, boop. It's so cool, man. It's a great cutter. I ended up resharpening mine. I got it used. The blade steel here is for a LC200N, which is a stainless steel. So this is a completely rust-proof knife, completely. You can rinse this out in the sink. You can do whatever you want. It's not going to rust. Now, LC200N doesn't hold the best edge, however. It is very stainless, but does not hold a great edge. It holds an okay edge, for sure, but not amazing. I think they would actually do better making this in Magnica instead, because it's going to have better edge retention and about the same stainlessness as a LC200N. So, but whatever, it's fine. It's you know, the fit and finish is really nice. This is one of the, well, I don't know about one of the few, but compared to the Swayback, you can reverse flick it, which is nice. On the Swayback, this lock bar covers up the hole. Now I actually knocked mine away to try to get to it. which I still can't really. So I need to still mess with that, maybe make the hole bigger. But we'll talk about that in a minute. You can reverse flick this one easily. You thumb flick it easily. It's on washers, and it is really smooth. Very, very smooth washer action. I mean, look at this drop to my thumb. A couple shakes, and it's home. Really smooth. It's a great knife. It feels cool. The ergos are great. It feels weird cutting with it at first, but just because, you know, you've never cut with a blade shape like this before. And once you do, you just fall in love with it. Alright, let's talk about the Swayback. This is a Swayback that I've done some mods on. I added the front flipper mod, which basically just, you know, this side of the scale was cornered like this side. I just sanded that away to be more of a rounded edge, which exposed this part of the blade tang. And it turns out it's just a perfect little front flipper. I added jimping on it to get some grip, and it's awesome because it added another deployment method to this knife. Since you can't reverse flick it, it's pretty much just a slow roller. You can thumb flick it, but it's not easy to thumb flick. You have to, since there's this ridge right here, you have to kind of flick out, and it doesn't always work well. So it's a knife that I mostly, at least me, would slow roll out. But now, if I don't want to slow roll it, I want to get it out nice and quick. Front flip. Very nice. I've actually done this mod for a few people who sent their Swaybacks in for me to do it to theirs. So if you want it done, let me know. I'll do it for you. Or do it yourself. It's not too hard. This is a great knife. Look at the shine on the blade, baby. This is one of my favorite blade finishes. I wish I had it on more knives. It's just a highly reflective stone wash, and it is so beautiful. It's a hollow ground. I guess you'd call that a wharncliffe. Yeah, I guess it's a wharncliffe. CTS XHP blade steel, which is kind of cool, a little more unique. Holds an edge really nice. I like the choke up spot. It's just a flat area right here. Really great ergos. You know, it's a Swayback design. You know, you get the upswept butt here and the downswept tip. Typical Swayback. And really nice stonewash on the titanium. It looks really, really, really nice. Now, regarding this, I thought this cutout would be enough to get me to reverse flick, but it's not. And I don't want to cut away any more of that lock bar. It seems like if I do that, it might weaken it. So I think the answer might be to enlarge the hole. The hole's a little larger. That might give me enough to get in there with my finger. If I really cram in there, I can kind of sort of get it out, so I'm close. But man, if I could reverse flick this, that would be awesome. I'm not going to give up. Alright, moving on. Let's do the fixed blade. So this is a Mule team in K294. Crazy, crazy blade steel here. I'm guessing it's in the K390 family. You know, similar to my Delica here, since it's got the K. That's just a guess, though. I don't know. But it seems to act pretty similarly. You can see we've got a little bit of a patina going on here. See that dark spot? It holds an edge, seemingly pretty, maybe even a little bit better than K390. I mean, this thing holds an edge like crazy. And this thing is an ultra performer. I mean, you can go look at the cut test video I did with this knife. It blew me away how well this cut. I mean, seriously, knocked my freaking socks off. It's insane, dude. It's just, you know, you got a wide, broad blade, pretty thin blade stock, full flat grind, and a wide edge bevel. Just that combination of things makes this cut so good. I think it's the best performer on the table here. I mean, just overall, it's insane, man. The scales here are Butterscotch Micarta from Hazy Design Studio on Etsy. He's got a lot of cool scales, great scale material, and the sheath is also from him. Kind of this almost snakeskin kydex. Really like his stuff. That's Hazy Design Studio on Etsy. And yeah, the ergos on this thing are amazing. You kind of got the palm swell right here. I love it. I really like it. I have an ulti clip on this, so I carry it down in my pocket, put this in, and it just works really nice. It's almost a little big for a pocket carry. I wouldn't want to go any bigger than this, but this is fine for the pocket. It sits all the way in there. I end up having about kind of like that sticking out of my pocket. So it works out pretty well, and yeah, man, it's fun to carry. All right, 3 more. Let's do the roadie. This is my little slip joint Spyderco. Not much to say about it. It's a little slip joint. As far as slip joints go, it does not have a great walk and talk, but it's fine. N690 blade steel. This was the knife that they designed to be TSA compliant. When TSA was thinking about letting knives back on planes, but with very specific parameters, Spyderco built this for that. But TSA changed their mind. They said, you know what, just no knives. Let's do no knives. So Spyderco said, all right, well, let's just release it anyways. So it's a weird little sheep's foot knife with no point on it, for just little tasks, which is probably great for. It's got the choke up spot, so it can't close on you, which is kind of cool. And it's just kind of a weird little guy. And lastly, we have my dual little natives, both wearing textured titanium scales from Rip's Garage Tech. Beautiful, undeniably beautiful, especially this one. This is in fluted titanium. It's got the, I think they call it, what do they call this? Is this the working finish and this is the stonewash? I think, I don't know. This is the darker finish, this is the more shiny finish. This is my Knife Joy exclusive in 20 CV, which is very cool. I don't have a Spyderco in 20 CV except this one. This is the classic little native, leaf-shaped blade version, and this is such a powerful little knife. I carried this every day for a week as my only knife, and it did absolutely everything I needed it to do. Everything. This could be my only knife. It could. I wouldn't really want it to be. It could, though. It is a powerful little blade. You get a full grip on it, so it feels much larger than it really is. If you need to power through some really thick cardboard or something like that, you can absolutely do it. The blade length here is, let's see, the actual cutting edge is just about 2 inches. Yeah, just about exactly 2 inches. But that's enough, man. That is enough. Compression lock, nice and snappy and smooth. And especially with these scales, man, look at this thing. It's just a beauty. I mean, if you pair it with, like, the Delica, what a combo. Look at that, man. And then this is the Wharncliffe little native. Got my channel name on there. This is the standard one in S30V. In fact, I don't think they have a Wharncliffe version in anything but S30V right now. But this is actually one that I bought first. Bought this one first, and I liked it, but I think I just wanted the one with a little bit of belly. If it's going to be my only knife, I want to have a little bit of belly, because it's nice to have in those situations where you want some belly. But both are really badass. These are I think it's a diamond texture is what they call it. Nice and snappy, very, very smooth. I mean, for such a small knife and such a light blade, this thing is just so smooth, man. It's crazy. Feels like such a premium knife with these scales on it. And they're not cheap. These scales are not cheap at all, but completely 100% worth it. Yeah, I love this little guy. So there you go. There's my Spydercos. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you think I need to add one to the collection. I think there are a few Spydercos I would still like to get. I would still like to get a Sage. I think it's a Sage 5. Is that the one with the compression lock? I think. Sage 5. I mean, I'd love to get a Paisan someday, maybe. There's so many good ones. I've been hearing really good things about the Silver Axe. So, I don't know. That's another cool thing about Spyderco is there's just so many. So many options, so many cool things, so many customization options. You can really make it your own. The best heat treats in the game, the best performers in the game in general. I just love Spyderco. So there it is, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like for me. That'd help me out. I'll see you soon.